Hello everyone, I'm Iriris. Today I'm going to talk about One Piece. I'm going to discuss One Piece manga chapter 1066 today. First, let's recap what happened in this chapter. I advise reading manga chapters 391 to 397 before beginning this chapter. The Ohara incident is detailed in these chapters. The chapter begins with a speech given by Shaka and the crew members. Shaka claims that there was once a kingdom, and he guesses that this kingdom possessed even more sophisticated technology. He says to have known a professor and that an excavation site turned up a machine that was made around 900 years ago. Ohara, according to Shaka, was destroyed because of his excessive knowledge of the former realm. And he explains his own assumption. Then he claims that the world government destroyed all documents of the ancient kingdom. He continues by saying that everybody who was knowledgeable of this was also killed. The professor that Vegapunk had known was Professor Clover. Professor Clover traveled the world while still a young man in an attempt to learn more about the Void Century. Even as a result of it, he was arrested many times. When Vegapunk arrived at the island, he noticed the lake of books in the center of it. The sailors had seen these books, but they did not damage them since they were unaware of the importance of the information included inside. In the meantime, Robin's flashback appears. Robin's mother was left behind to save these books as well. Actually, Vegapunk wanted to bring the books to Punk Hazard, but he was unable to do so since he was aware that if the top management were made aware of the situation, trouble would occur. And we see Vegapunk flashbacks. When Vegapunk visited Ohara 22 years ago, he noticed several giants were gathering books. Just then, Dragon appears in front of him. Dragon was the leader of the freedom fighters at the time. According to Dragon, the giants were from Elbaf and were aware of the importance of the books. He adds that bandages are covering the giant group's head. Dragon has an annoyed attitude toward Vegapunk. Because he refused to join the freedom fighters and ended up working for the government. According to Vegapunk, talent is meaningless unless you use it. The world government, he continues, is a big organization, and nice people can be found there, especially among mariners. Dragon, on the other hand, says that this incident has gone too far and that he will no longer tolerate them. And he says that he will raise an army to fight them. The Revolutionary Army is built within a year by Dragon, Ivakov, and Kuma. After then, Vegapunk visited Elbaf to read the books. And he's read them all. When Robin asks questions as to whether Saul is the leader of the giants, Vegapunk responds that he is unable to answer because the person is currently in hiding. Then he says he wants to show the crew something and takes them away. We turn to Luffy's side on the next page. Chopper and Luffy try to move the robot. Somehow trapped inside the robot, Vegapunk is asking for help. Luffy helps him in getting out of there. Meanwhile, we see Bonnie's reactions. This is the chapter's quick summary. It was a good episode. We learned some new knowledge. Some things were what we guessed, but what the crew didn't know. Several things stood out to me, and I want to talk to you about them. The machine from the ancient kingdom. The old kingdom's machine is what has me the most curious. Shaka says he shows something to the crew. Will he show this machine? It's not the robot on the last page, in my opinion. Because the Luffys are in a junkyard on the last page. They wouldn't likely dump something this important in the junkyard, in my opinion. Could they have put it in the junkyard just because the government would think like that? Professor Clover. Professor Clover has been arrested multiple times, according to Vegapunk. But why was he released later? As you know, there are many theories suggesting that one of the five elders is a traitor on internet. After reading this chapter, I think the probability of this happening increases. Saul. Although we can't see his face, I think Saul is the head of the giant group that collects the books. The silhouette shown in the background also looks like Saul. Saul was frozen by Aokiji when we last saw him. He appears to have survived and able to get off the ice. Other than Saul, there are already many characters in the series that survived freezing. Additionally, Kid mentioned a man with burn marks in a previous episode. Could that man be Saul? Giant group. This giant group is similar to the new giant warrior pirates led by Hadrudin. I'm not sure as we can't see their full faces. Dragon. There were many theories on the internet about Dragon. It's like he formed a revolution army because a dragon killed Dragon's wife. However, we learn in this episode that this theory is incorrect. He established the revolution army as a result of what happened in Ohara. Before the revolution army, he was the freedom fighters' leader. Vegapunk. In this episode, Vegapunk appears in whole rather than just in silhouette. His head has shrunk considerably during the past 22 years. It might be because it's divided into 6, in my opinion. The Vegapunk we saw on the last page seemed to have a childish personality. That could be because Shaka took over the logic side. Also, since he's read all the books, could he know the ancient language? Or the ancient kingdom's name? While you know, Clover was killed as he was saying the name of the ancient kingdom. Finally, I'd like to quickly touch about Robin. I thought Robin's facial expressions were very well drawn throughout the episode. So, what did you think of the chapter? Please share your views with me in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching the video till the end.